Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Cynispection. That we insist of making at the same, like, two episodes in a row. We could just do it in different days, but we enjoy it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's better.
yeah, we like to do our weekly watching show thing. I'm Gabe. That's John. We didn't do a show last week, so we're reviewing two episodes of one of our favorite shows called Westworld. Which
Yeah,
is it's its fourth season, so we're reviewing episodes 1 and 2. Um,
fourth and final season. So
is it the final season?
yeah,
Really?
this is it. This is it. This is it.
Really?
Yeah, they're not doing anything yet. This is it.
You know, it makes me happy. I like when things end appropriately.
Yeah, I feel like the Nolans do it right, and I just want to start out with, like, if you haven't watched Westworld, go back and watch seasons 1 through 3. They're worth it. It's all up on HBO Max. This is a show that you need to watch on a nice monitor or screen or whatever. It is arguably one of the most visually appealing shows on TV. Everything is crisp. Everything is beautiful.
Amazing.
Everything is
Amazing.
perfect. I have a nice setup here. And I will say that Westworld is the only show that makes me, like, if I watch it on, I have a TV in my room, which is whatever. And then I have, like, my setup to watch movies in. And it's the only show that I'm actually like, I have to watch this on the better of the two setups. Like, I can't just, it's so visually appealing. It is beautiful.
Beautiful. Not a lot of special effects, nothing like that. It's just good camera work, lighting, makeup, costume design. Yeah,
everything is top notch. And I mean, it is because they spend a lot of money to make this show. It's super obvious when you watch it. If you look at who's producing the show, it's Jonathan Nolan and his wife.
J.J. Abrams.
And J.J. Abrams,
is also one of them. Yeah.
So you literally have, like, arguably some of the biggest people, like, I won't say the biggest people in Hollywood, but the biggest names in Hollywood. Like, the Nolan brothers are well known. You know Christopher Nolan, but, like, his brother is always along with him, writing, producing, doing everything else. And right. Lisa Joy is his wife, and she is also doing this. So just this combination of, like, J.J. Abrams plus, like, Jonathan Nolan is insane. It really is. And the show is should be grateful. And, like, us viewers should be grateful for how beautiful the show is.
You know what's the thing I'm the most grateful about with this show is the fact that it feels like the internet hasn't really, we just closed the last show talking about the internet, but it feels like the internet hasn't really caught up with it. Like, it just, like, you don't see, like, everyone talking about it, which, thank God, let's just talk about it as a, like, it feels like a nerdy show, like smarter than most of us, like, it has, like, really interesting concepts about what it means to exist, to be alive. What is consciousness? I'm really happy for that. I felt the same with Halo when we were reviewing Halo.
Yeah,
like,
because nobody's talking about it. Yeah,
nobody's talking about it. Because if you talk about Stranger Things, everyone's talking about Stranger Things. Like, oh, like Eddie's death and whatever. Like, spoiler, but, like, it helps when you say spoiler after you say the spoiler. But yeah, I mean, this is good. This is the right way to do
it. And this show doesn't try to be anything more than it is. It portrays extremely complex topics that you were just, like, talking about, which is, like, what does it mean to be alive? Like, what makes us human? Is it our emotions? Is it our nature? Is it the way that, like, we're raised? Or is it something that you can create in a tube? Or is it something that you can program? What is it?
You recreate it with science, like it's really interesting because, especially in the first season, there's a lot of scenes of like somebody talking to a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And especially Jeffrey Wright's character, Bernard, he's talking to one of the hosts, as they call them, the robots, right? And he like asks them a question and they answer, and then he's like, analysis, and then the robot goes on, like, stiff, mode. It's like, why did you respond that way? And they have to justify the response. And robots give you an answer that makes sense. Like, why would you say this? Oh, because
it was one of my conditions to do this,
right? Whatever. But you think about it, humans wouldn't have a justification of why things come up. We just, like, oh, it just came up. I just thought of it.
Well, and another thing that it kind of gets into is, like, Hive Mind, which is, like, funny because we're talking about Stranger Things and Hive Mind and all of that. And it portrays, like, a very complex topic of Hive Mind, by just saying, okay, there's artificial intelligence and it's been locked in this little island, and we've been creating it for years and years and kind of suppressing it and rebooting as need be, but it keeps breaking out. Which is kind of the concept, is like life will always find a way, right? Like it's very much the Jurassic Park mentality. Shocker, by the way, that this is by the same author, but
the original movie, yeah, which I've never seen. Have you seen the original?
Yeah, I've seen it a long time ago. It's not great, but we can watch it sometime. So
it's really old, right? Like 70s.
Very old, yeah.
So we should watch it. Yeah.
Life finds a way, and like that's kind of the whole point behind Westworld and Jurassic Park. But life finds a way, and in this season, life has found a way. Like they tried to eradicate it, they tried to get rid of the artificial intelligence, and a couple things have seeped out so far, and we're just starting to see those things blossom. So, right now there's kind of two big plot lines that are, well, three, I guess. There is the
Dolores. Well, not Dolores. Her name's Christina now. There's Maeve and Caleb, and there's the Man in Black.
The Man in Black.
Is that it?
Right. Yeah.
And we haven't heard about Bernard yet. Bernard.
Well, we don't know whatever happened to Bernard, right?
Right. Like, we don't know.
So I think that's something that they're going to resolve. Maybe not. So
I'm sure they will.
I hope so. But so let's start. I guess we can start with Dolores, who is now Christina,
something like that. Yeah. I think she's in a
video
game.
Yeah, she's trapped in the video game. Yeah.
She's not in the real world. I think that's pretty clear. I don't think they're trying to hide it. They're just hinting at it slowly building up.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Because at the end of the last season, we saw that she encrypted all of the data so that it didn't get out, and she kind of died. So this season, we just see her wake up and we don't understand, but she's alive and in the world. And I think that they're slowly leading us to believe that she's locked inside that giant circle ball thing from the last season.
Tell me something, because I might be remembering wrong, but wasn't Dolores' consciousness in Tessa Thompson's body, in Charlotte's body? Or am I remembering that wrong?
No, because I think there
at
was
one point it was.
It was, but I think there's like a divergence in who wants to save the world and who wants to destroy it. So it was
Wyatt and Dolores, right? Because Dolores' mind was Wyatt and Dolores.
Yeah.
So Wyatt would be in Charlotte?
So Tessa Thompson's character is Charlotte, who's the one who is trying to destroy the world or take it over. And actually, I don't
take over the world. She had a speech at the end of the second episode.
And it was honestly amazing, because that speech leads you to find out her whole plot, which is we're going to take over humans. We are the new race. We're going to fix what the problem with all the humans were. And I think that doesn't this all come from Anthony Hopkins' character from originally, he was a piece in the puzzle, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff here, but you kind of need.
He's the one that's set this whole thing in motion, right? I was rewatching. I didn't manage to rewatch the whole thing. I left it halfway through season 2, but there's so many things. This show also, something else to your point, it's great on rewatch because you notice new things, and play a lot with time. It's I guess Nolan-y in that way. It's very surreal. But okay, so Dolores is
trapped, and then
she's trapped in a video game. Everybody, because also was hinted that James Marsden Teddy is going to be back
there, which he's been very dead. So
he's been dead for a while, but again, his consciousness, you can just upload it again. I like it. I mean, it's Evan Rachel Wood is really good at completely changing her demeanor depending on what version of Dolores she plays. When she's the sweet Dolores, when she's the murderous Dolores,
versus the savior Dolores.
And now she's the confused Dolores that doesn't know what's going on.
We touched on this before, but the cast is insane. doesn't get much better.
Insane. Yes. And everybody that they add is better. Aaron Paul last season was a great addition. That guy is just awesome. I don't know why he's not in more stuff. Like, I feel like Aaron Paul should be like the next Tom Cruise, you know, like he's
I think it's up to him. I think he kind of chooses his roles. Like, honestly, he has to, because like between this and Breaking Bad, like hands down, just like amazing TV. So, but no, Evan Rachel Wood's great. The guy who you're talking about, Teddy, James Marston, yeah, he's really good.
Interestingly enough, his best roles have been after X-Men.
Yeah. Oh,
you
know? This role is very interesting because he's kind of like a Ken doll in a way, right? Like he's just like happy and smiling, and like
I guess like loyal cowboy, you know?
Like, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, like Toy Story, right?
Like Woody, like he's Woody. Yeah, he's like, ooh,
kind of looks like it too, which is kind of funny enough. But so like
it would be a good live action Woody.
That whole plot is going on, and then like Tessa Thompson, Charlotte Hale, and Ed Harris, who's the Man in Black. Their plot is that they're the evil part of the AI. So like Evan Rachel Wood, the end of last season, tried to shut it all down, but obviously it escaped with Tessa Thompson or Charlotte and the Man in Black. And they are...
Well, the Man in Black almost died, but she kept him alive and now has copied him as a host.
Yes. And she's freezing him to keep him alive because in a weird way, he is their god. And she even says that actually in her like monologue at the end of this episode, or at the end of episode 2. She says that you achieved like a level that man never would. Like you achieved basically a godlike level. And she's out there to replace the vice president, replace senators, replace like she's going through and actively replacing people Manchurian Candidate style with these AI clones that are all Hive Mind. And they have some new technology that we're kind of finding out about, I guess, given that like they hinted towards it in episode 1 with the flies in the cartel that they kind of took over, which was very interesting to see the future of America has literally just been bought and paid for. Once again, very complex topic. A cartel, very awesome way to say it.
Yeah, like cartel purchased Hoover Dam.
Yeah, because the United States is so for sale. And then they even make an allude, like they allude to it again in this episode when he's like talking to the vice president. He's like, "I paid for your campaign. You're obviously for sale. Like I've bought and paid for you." And he's like, "Well, this is leased American land." And he's like, "I don't give a shit." Like, you know, like it shows that in 50 years, 100 years, like what is America if you let the corporations keep doing what they want, but they don't beat you over the head with it, which is the best part about this show. It delivers very
good writing. Yeah, it's good writing because these days, it feels like most things are just like, see this problem, like you know, this is what's bad about it. Here's just like a little thing, like I own you. And then it just like it's a couple of lines, and then the scene ends with the murder, like you know, and it's you know, it's more impactful. The story's more impactful than the message, and then the message sticks with you, so you can think about it later. You know, that was great.
And they do, and this is like littered throughout the entire series. This is why I love the series, and like I keep saying, go watch it. It's little things like this that you might not catch on the first or second time that you watch it. But it's there, and it's all through the show. And this isn't the first time they've talked about it. Like this is probably like the 10th time they've talked about it or something. But so that's what's going on there. I don't really think they've really told us what they're going for with those two characters, other than they're going to just try to take over the world.
I think they're going to use Hoover Dam for something, maybe sinking, you know, like flooding something.
The Hoover Dam is a big data center, and it uses the power from the dam to power the data center, which is kind of cool.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a big data center, and that's what he's buying is the backups of the stuff that they lost in season 3.
So it's the information you need to be able to replicate humans.
Yeah. So the cartel had basically siphoned off all that data and now has it in storage. And he was like, "You're going to give it back to me." And they're like, "No." And he's like, "Here's the money." And they're like, "You can't buy us." And then he kills them.
I forgot. That's true.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another like cautionary tale or message about what putting more and more data into the internet and giving it to these like tech companies, like what that
you
could
don't know
represent.
who actually has it.
You don't know who has it. You don't know who's looking at it. You know what algorithm it's being used with. And you and me, we've been putting data on the internet since we were like 15 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
But children born, in 2010, their whole lives will be on the internet. Like,
and that's a whole other thing. Like the show jumps into that people don't realize is Westworld is not what you think it is. It's not a cool amusement park to go play cowboys and Indians. It's
and
actually
now Prohibition era people.
Yeah, now it's Prohibition era or the Samurai era or the medieval era or the World War II era or whatever era, right? It's actually just a data collection platform. And they're sitting there mapping people's minds so that they can better sell advertisements. So like it is not a far extrapolation from like what's actually happening in society. It's basically like this could probably happen. It probably will happen. So it's a really cool concept to keep moving forward. And then that's what they're trying to get back is like what makes you human? Like because they need to teach that's something that they were never able to unlock. Because the whole original point of Westworld was to make someone live forever. The guy who the Man in Black took over for, he actually killed him, but
his father-in-law.
His father-in-law was just to make him live forever. And they had to collect all of this data to understand how the mind worked. And then they figured out, we can siphon this data off and sell it. And that's how they made all the money to keep the projects going. And the amusement park was just a way to collect data from people. And then
that's a good show. The show is awesome.
It's so good. I don't like the more you talk about it, like the depth of the show.
Yeah. The topics, the characters, the just thematically what it means, because it just, for example, like I've seen some people complain online like, oh, nobody dies, they all come back. Like Evan Rachel Wood has died like 4 times, like but like, well, I guess Dolores had died like 4 times. Evan Rachel Wood is fine. And like that's not the point though. Like she's a vessel for the thematic, like this, you know what I mean? Like
it's to move the plot. Like it's not just to move the plot forward. It's not like a Monster of the Week show that they have to keep bringing someone back. They explain it like early on, like you can't kill these people, and they have backups. And like this is something that was explored in Altered Carbon, another show that like kind of touches on this topic, like what is life. But in this case, it's like, no, that they're a robot. That they have backups. They like clearly discuss it. And they even go into like how the guns work and like how you can't shoot other patrons and how like the animatronics or whatever you want to call them, the robots, they can't hurt guests. Like that's in their programming, which actually harkens back to like Isaac Asimov with the 3 laws of robotics. So anyway, all of that's good. The last part is Aaron Paul which is Caleb and Maeve, which Maeve's had like this crazy arc throughout the entire thing. And she starts out as kind of the villain and then becomes the hero in a very strange way.
Well, she just wants to be left alone, right? But nobody seems to be able to do that for her. Like,
even at the beginning,
case.
Yeah.
I mean, they were both just trying to like move on, right? And he has a family, which I thought was a good little thing for him because his arc last season was really good. You're like the most ordinary guy. This algorithm's predicting you're going to die when you're 35, and then history will move on. He's like, and now he's like found new purpose, and now he has a family and all these little things, and then it's all hidden behind the, oh, look, cowboys, or oh, look, Prohibition era, like New York or whatever. I think it was New York or Chicago.
I think it's supposed to be New York. It's going to be very interesting. That was a really big, curtain being pulled back, is that he moved Westworld to the United States, which was never allowed before because they were worried about what this company was doing, because it's doing evil shit. So
I think it was in China, right?
Yeah, it was in China. So they bought islands. The original Westworld were a chain of islands that this company had bought off the coast of China, because they were allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted on these islands as long as they just paid the Chinese government.
It was really, really well thought about.
Yeah.
Like just deeper than we assume.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the really like good thing about this show is that it is way deeper than like it is a it's a Nolan plot. Like, let's be honest. Like these guys think, and I go back to this. You know, Jonathan Nolan's gotten writing credits on what, like the last 5 or 6 Christopher Nolan scripts.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he had one in Tenet, but he had in several others.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Interstellar, like no, he's good. So
I don't know what else to say other than
I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's a great show. It's 2 episodes. Like we talked about more like conceptually than I didn't like the fight scene. Oh, I can say something funny. That scene where they go to like a senator, Maeve and Caleb go to like a senator, and the senator is played by the same guy who played the senator in The Office. Did you see The Office? That was funny. Was married to Angela. I remember, like,
they do. I mean, they do funny things like that in a lot of shows, just like as a joke, right? Like I bet that somebody was like, what'd be really funny?
We should get that guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
right, yeah, those.
It's just like the big scene in The Boys where the guy accidentally sneezes. I'm not going to give away too much, but he accidentally sneezes, and that was all a joke because of like Paul Rudd being Ant-Man going up Thanos' ass and then exploding. So the writers of The Boys were like, "That's hilarious. Let's just put it in our show."
And it was funny. It was actually not up the ass though. He went up.
No, it went up his dick.
The front. Yeah.
But still, same principle.
Same principle, yeah.
But Westworld had a lot of these things, like hidden themes, hidden jokes, hidden whatever. And I think that, if you're into this show's not for everybody. It's very like conceptual, and people aren't gonna it's not action packed. It's definitely a slow burn. You might get one action scene out of this, like every, 4 or 5 episodes if you're lucky, and that scene might be like 20 seconds.
The fight scene in episode 2. There was a fight scene in episode 2 against the senator and the lady from Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah,
did you recognize her? I was like, "Is that the lady?"
I had to look up both those. I was like, "Who is this?"
That's a funny pairing, there was a little, but the fight scene was not particularly.
I think it was like
no explosions, no car chases. Just a.
That's it. Yeah, a lot of practical effects in the show. But not
and the androids, they have like really control themselves, and there's been like Terminator, face torn off kind of thing. They haven't really done that, which I believe happens in the original, right? The original is like Terminators everywhere, right?
Yeah, so the original it's more animatronics.
Mm.
Like the animatronics come alive, and it's very like if Disney World had the Pirates of the Caribbean ride come alive.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's way closer to what it actually like the original is.
Yeah, they expanded on a great concept. Made it way better. Did you ever see that?
How they got this many seasons out of it, honestly, because I thought when they were first doing it, I was like, "There's no way that they're gonna be able to get 4 seasons, 5 seasons."
It's still surprising. Like I said, nobody's talking about it. Like, and there's so many HBO shows that people just don't talk about. Like, but people watch. Like the HBO programming is very sophisticated, and they keep watching. They know their audience exactly. That's what's kind of weird that HBO Max is like this big umbrella of like they have like CW shows, but they still have the HBO shows. You know what I mean? Like they still have the HBO people doing HBO things.
Yeah. I mean, this is very much an HBO show. Like it started before HBO Max was the thing. The show's been going for a long time now, even though it's only in its 4th season. I think it's like, I don't know. I need to look up when it started. It's not a new show by any means.
It was probably like 2017.
2016.
Time. 16, yeah.
The show's been going for 8 years. No, 6 years now.
6 years. It was a 2-year wait between season 3 and this one.
There was no way that they could have shot this during COVID. It's impossible. They would have had to green screen too much. And if they would have done green screening with this show, going from the previous seasons into this, you would have been able to tell. It would have been a night and day difference, and it would have not looked great.
Also, they shoot them all over the place. Like the scenes in the futuristic, like there was that scene with I think it's a Delos headquarters. Well, Clementine meets the DA guy.
Oh yeah,
that's in Valencia in Spain. I've been there.
Really?
Yeah, that's a real place with like those like circular buildings, and they used it in Tomorrowland too. They used it in several films for like futuristic looking stuff. But yeah, going to Spain during COVID, it was just would have been really hard. Did you ever see a movie called Toys with Robin Williams?
Hang on, I'm looking it up.
About
yeah, I've seen it.
That was a very bad movie, right? And it was something similar, like the mechanical toys become monsters.
Yeah, become real. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been
poor man's Westworld.
Yeah, there's been a lot of attempts at this concept, I think, and I think that this show probably does it the best. I mean,
so far, hopefully there'll be somebody that'll do even better.
I think that Altered Carbon did a really good job at a very similar concept, like cyberpunky, futuristic, what makes us human. But that died after the first season, so
and then got canceled. You see, Raised by Wolves is canceled too. Anyway, yeah. All right. Like and subscribe.
And we'll have more to talk about next week. Yeah.
Next week when we'll review, I guess Westworld again, but we'll see. I guess the same. I don't know. All right. Well, have a good day. Goodbye.